Good afternoon, First Baptist Church. Welcome to the Monday blog. We finished the book of Jude, and now we're moving to the book of Haggai. So let me share my screen as we start to dive into this book that I personally have not heard a lot about. I can probably count on my hands maybe 5 times in my life that I've even seen a verse out of Haggai. So let's start to dive into this text and see what God has to tell us in the book of Haggai. The first thing I love about this is we see this book from Haggai is where it dates it. It says in the second year of Darius the king. And we have to stop there, right? This is not Darius, the one we see in Daniel, the Darius of the Medes. This is not Darius the second that we see in Nehemiah. This is Darius the first. This is the king that was a high official in the army that takes out Simbis, who was the son of Cyrus. And this is around 522 BC. So we have a year where he takes over. And it's in the second year of that year. So around 520 BC. And the way they counted their calendar at that time, they would have started the year in around the springtime, right? March-ish or so, right? And so this would actually have been sometime in the end of the summer. And historians believe that it would have been around August 29th, 520 BC. Now, how cool is it that we can look back and discover the exact date that this would have happened? And what's really cool about it is the word of the Lord came by the hand of Haggai, this prophet to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah. Now you have to understand that this time there's not kings. There's a king Darius, the king of the Persians, that's king over all this, and he would have assigned these governors of these areas. But Zerubbabel would have been from the lineage of David. He's actually in the book of Matthew. He's actually in the book of Luke as the lineage, the genealogy of Jesus Christ. So we're seeing this link to the gospel we're going to see in the New Testament. And then we also see this Joshua. He's the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. And so Joshua and Zerubbabel, they have great intentions. They come back to Jerusalem. They're going to build the temple. They build these foundations for the temple. And then the Samaritans kind of disrupt the whole thing. They bring in lawyers. They're trying to talk to the Persians, trying to get them to stop doing what they're doing. And Haggai says, look, the Lord came to me. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies. Right? You think the Persian army is big? Imagine the Lord of everything. And he's telling me this. You better listen, Zerubbabel. You better listen, Joshua, to what I have to say. And he's going, these people say the time has not yet come to rebuild the house of the Lord. That's what Zerubbabel and Joshua are saying, right? The time has not yet come. We don't have the go-ahead from the Persians to rebuild this. But Haggai is saying the Lord has a different story. He's telling you something different. Then the word of the Lord came by the hand of Haggai the prophet. Is it time for you yourselves to dwell in paneled houses while the house of the Lord lies in ruins? So what's going on is these guys have built their houses and they have these paneling that's over the irregular walls that were built with stone. And so these beautiful wood panels, and they had the time to do that. Right? These 16, 17 years that they're waiting, that they're not working on the temple, they're building these things, and God's saying, where are your priorities? Right? He comes here and he says, now therefore, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, consider your ways. Now this is where we can really grasp on this. What are our ways? Right? At the same time, they're focused on their houses, they're focused on their things, and they're not focused on the things of God. And I think we do the same thing. They've sown much and harvested little. We work so hard, and what do we have to show from it? Right? Nothing. You eat, but you have not enough, right? The things of this world, we devour it, we digest it. We're trying to bring in the things of this world, and yet it doesn't satisfy. It says you drink, but you will never have your fill. That's what the things of this world does. You clothe yourself, but no one is warm. Just think about this. We can apply this to today and see the world that we live in. And he who earns wages does not put them in a bag with holes. Earns wages does so to put them in a bag with holes. We waste everything that we get. You see, there's only one thing that we can take home with us, and that's the people. That's the things that are of God. And yet we focus on all these things that don't necessarily matter, whether it's sports, whether it's even our job, whether it's our houses, our cars, all these things around us that we put as a priority over God, when we need to be putting God as the priority in our lives. And that's what we can learn from Haggai, who took this message from God and spoke to Zerubbabel and Joshua. And really, he's going to engage them to rebuild this house of the Lord and to make the house of the Lord as a priority. And as we get to the story of Jesus, this temple is going to be a key element in that story. So thank you for tuning in today, and we'll continue on with the book of Haggai as we go. Have a wonderful day.